Hi, howdy, hello. This is Bill from Billboard Comics, coming to you with another edition of Growing Up Comics. Uh, the topic of this time around will be um, the comics, I should say, that made me a fan of the Avengers. Um, and it takes it back to like the late 70s, early 80s. I don't know exactly what date it was, but um, back then they had a kind of like used to sell comic books in things called multi-packs, um, multi-mags, Marvel's multi-mags, and DC's were comic packs until uh, they were taken over by Whitman. And Whitman called them just comic books in a bag. I think I don't know what they were called, but in the 80s you could like be able to get anywhere from 4 to 2 comic books in a bag, um, sold there for like a penny cheaper. There'd be to buy all 3 of them at the same time at a when they first came out. Um, and every so often, like sometimes they have an assortment of their in there. They have like a mix of like you know 3 different characters, like Batman, Justice League, and Brave and the Bold, uh, or like Captain America, Thor, and the Eternals, something like that. Um, but every so often they would have themed books where all the pack would be all one title. You get 3 Superman books, or 3 Batman books, or 3 Wonder Woman books, or 3 Captain America books, or 3 um, in this case X-Men Avengers books. And that's what happened. I remember, I think when I first got this thing, um, I was growing up. We didn't really have I grew up like we didn't really have a lot of money growing up. So I tried to make all my money count. And when it came to actually reading comics and buying comic books, and this is before I became a collector. This is way before I became a collector. Um, it was a case of like try to get the most bang for my buck. And I've said this before in another video, but bear with me if you've seen that already. Um, so I would try to go for the ones that had the most characters in it, like the team up books, like um, Marvel Team Up, which is Spider-Man and another character. Marvel 2-in-1, which had the Thing and another character. Brave and the Bold, which had Batman and another character. Um, and DC Comics Presents, which had Superman and another character. Um, so basically, I would go gravitate to those because like I know I get a known quality in like the Superman, Batman thing, and Spider-Man, but also knew one that I might not be that familiar with, so I could try it out or like do stuff like that. But I also like the teams. But I was very particular with the teams. Like um, I didn't really go for the X-Men or Fantastic Four because they're kind of insular. Like the X Men are all mutants, and they all were kind of like a family together and stuff like this, and they all shared the same kind of like outlook and stuff like that. They didn't come from various different places. They all lived together, stayed together, fought together. Same thing with Fantastic Four, but even more to the fact of being a family. They're Marvel's first family, as a matter of fact. Um, so I was always like gravitated towards the Avengers, and to a lesser extent the Justice League. But I always found the Justice League and DC books at the time, and this is a criticism a lot of people have. They're kind of like stuffy and like a little bit too stiff and stoic and stuff like that. Marvel's characters were more interesting. They had more problems. They seemed more human. Um, DC Comics had a whole bunch of like demigods running around. But I used to gravitate towards the uh, comic books that featured teams of people, and normally more often than not, the Avengers, and also like lesser extent the Defenders and the um, Eternals and stuff like that. Um, but I digress. I remember the time when I got the 3 pack in question. I'm going to talk about now. I believe I had the day off from school. I was taken up to um, Pittston, Pennsylvania for a doctor's appointment. I don't know what it was for. I don't remember that. It's funny. Like I have bits and pieces of memory and have bits and pieces. Maybe a dentist appointment. I don't know. But me and my mom went to Kmart in the Pittston Plaza, which I don't believe is there anymore. Um, I don't think any Kmart is anywhere anymore, but they were at one time there, and they had like a luncheonette, and we had food there. And I was going like, are we going shopping afterwards? We're going shopping afterwards. We're going shopping afterwards. Goes, no, I think they have comic books in there. Can I get comic books? Can I get comic books? So eventually my mom um, relented, gave me like about $5 to go get a comic book in there, and that's where I saw the packs. And she wanted me to get only one, but I got two because you know what? You give me $5 and they cost $2, less than $2. I'm paying two. I forget what the other one was. I think it was like a one had Thor fighting Ulick with Jane Foster hanging from something, and might have had like an Eternals and something else in it. But at the same time, I got the Avengers one with three um, three Avengers comic books in it. And these were the three comic books that turned me on to the Avengers. There were 156, 157, and 180. Why they had two in a row and one a big gap? I don't know. It's just probably just the way they came out. These were all like came out ages beforehand, and they're just repackaged for this purpose, just to send it out like this. Okay, Avengers 157, 157 now. Featured a cover by Jack Kirby. 158 did too. I already discussed on this site exactly my feelings per Jack Kirby. He's 50-50 in these covers. First one, eh. Second one, really good, really exciting. But unless 157 featured a man in gray with costume stepping over the unconscious bodies of the Avengers. Well, you want to know what's going on in the thing. You pick that up. At least I did when I was a kid. So basically, what he inside there is basically the plot is there, like a couple about a couple years before there was a crossover between the Defenders and the Avengers, and Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, got turned into a statue, a stone statue, and while his spirit went across the universe, and it was a big deal trying to find him and track him down. Supposedly for this, the purpose of this issue, somebody was able to animate this stone statue of Dana Whitman, and he attacked all the Avengers. Pretty much laid waste to everybody. Kicked their butt left, right, up, down, and inside out. Until it came to Division. Now, in case you don't know about Division in the comic books is his powers for control his own density. Not like Lorraine. Lorraine, you are by density. He was able to control his body to make either diamond hard, which made him pretty much invulnerable, or intangible, which means he could pass through solid objects. So basically, what he did is when he was confronted by the statue, is just turn diamond hard, and when the statue started punching him, it just fell to pieces and turned to dust. So that's how that issue ended. Issue 158 starts off with a fight between Wonder Man and the Vision. The issue before 157 had Wonder Man and Scarlet Witch out doing a shopping, walking the streets of New York, doing a shopping thing, stuff like this. They come home before they even get inside the Avengers mansion. They get waylaid by the Black Knight statue, and they're knocked out. At this time, I think either one of them was married or dating or had some kind of like relationship with the Vision. But since like Wonder Man was there, he's helping Wanda up and like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" Like very close and grabbing her up and supporting her, and this made Vision insanely jealous, and they have a big fight for about 3 or 4 pages, just beating the snot out of each other. Well, not really, because neither of them have snot. Wonder Man is a guy made of ionic energy, and the other is an android, so there's no mucus anywhere between those two. But I digress. So they fight, and they eventually just Iron Man lets him fight it off until he just steps in and goes, "Okay, knock it off now. I had enough of it." Um, but the Avengers get like this report of something that happened in the Canadian Rockies. Apparently, like this research facility was taken over by this man who develops superhuman powers over gravity. This is the first appearance of a villain called Graviton. This is one of my favorite villains. Like I said, if I came across their first appearance accidentally when I was reading comic books as a kid, they became one of my famous characters for the rest of my life. So he's up there, and he's taking over the whole thing. He's getting mad with power, and he's going to take over everything like that. So the Avengers are called in. They go to face um, Graviton, and then they get their butts handed to them again. Um, the theme of these three issues is the Avengers getting their butts handed to them. But ends a cliffhanger with him in the rubble of his research facility in this super villain costume that he made for himself, standing over the prone bodies of the Avengers, which he just kind of like just waylaid and just like went through them like a hot knife through butter. It took me quite a number of years to figure out what happened because, like I said, the third book in this series was Avengers 180. So I had to wait to get 159 until quite a few years later, and I got it at like a convention someplace, and I was able to finish the storyline. Um, which again was another one where the Avengers got their butt kicked. Um, this character, I forget what the guy's name is, came in and he had like a thing to take out the Avengers. Like they had this reward on it. There's like a bounty on their head. So he was able to get everybody, you know, out. Even Thor. He came across Thor because he had like a very powerful like numbing agent, laser kind of stuff. So he got pretty much everybody done. Um, but a certain part of the Avengers, I think it was like once again Vision, this time Beast and Thor were traveling to this tropical island where they had to fight this big like statue that was a mountain, and there they met a mutant who was looked like a bird in human form, and like they brought him back, and like Hank McCoy, who's the Beast, says, "Hey, I know a place your mutation could be you could fit in, and it could teach you how to like use your powers for good and help people. It's called the X-Men. Come with me, I'll do that." So they come back to the Avengers Quinjet back to the Avengers Mansion, come in and get like waylaid like by the guy there. I think he takes out Thor. I think he takes out um, Vision. He's about like to actually like like shoot the Beast, but the mutant who looked like a bird jumped in front of Beast, took the blast for him, and ended up dying from the blast. And he sacrificed himself for these people he just met. Um, it was a great story. At least I thought it was. But I believe that was my first introduction to the Avengers team, and also to a character who would become my favorite character of all time, who would be the Beast, Hank McCoy. He's my favorite character at all times, in all kinds of comic books and everything like that. Um, and because like the way he was in these books, he was like joking around, jovial, laughing, one very agile. And at the time, I wasn't as old as creaky as I was a pretty agile kid. Um, but also he was an outcast because he was completely covered with blue fur. So I identified with the character immediately, and he was in all three issues. And like, I just he became my favorite character. Um, I also developed a fondness for like Wonder Man and the Vision from those books because of like they're featured on that and stuff like that. But it just the whole story dynamics about the team, like about like it showed like not all the team members get along with everybody else, and there's certain petty jealousies and animosities, and there's other people who are just like easygoing, laid back people, and there's people who are really uptight, and there are married people on there, there are people who are dating on there, there's stuff like this. It just seems so much interesting than like the Justice League, which is basically you seem like people working in a business office coming together and everything was business, and they left afterwards, and people didn't have any connection, at least in the books. So that's when I became a fan of the Avengers through those three books. Um, became so much of the fan of the Avengers, I decided like when I turned 40. And these are two stories. I'm going to tell you two stories right now about my birthday cakes for my 40th uh, birthday and my 50th birthday. Um, will I name names? Maybe. Um, so I had my 40th birthday back in my hometown in Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre, with all my friends, because a lot of my friends lived there. Um, so I decided to actually like um, have my birthday in the local hotel down there, and just off Public Square in Wilkes-Barre. Um, but one of the things I wanted for my birthday was a cake. Like around that time, because the Cake Boss and Ace of Cakes and all these ones where they make these giant 3D like 3D uh, cakes. So I wanted one of those, but I went with the cover of from 156 with Vision and Wonder Man fighting. But like the base of the cake will be the cover, and the 3D characters will be them rising off of it, like fighting kind of thing, like this, like it's just like peeling off the book and fighting like this. Which I don't know if it would even be theoretically or possible, or even the within the laws of physics possible. But nonetheless, we got contact with a cake place in Stroudsburg, which is like the closest one that my wife did the research that did this kind of cakes, and we decided to get the stuff off of them. Um, she put the order in and everything like that, and like talk to the person. Oh yeah, we could do that. That's no problem. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We'll have no problem doing it. So because I want like to be like a stack of comic books, and the top comic book would be 150 Avengers 156, the characters coming off of it, and like you know very specific, very demure, very mindful. Um, but nonetheless, like we were told there was no problem to do that. So we went about our business. Like, and she put the order in like months before, like a month before, something like this. Um, and we're getting close to time. We heard nothing from them at all. We didn't know. And then my wife says, "Well, okay, I'll go check on it." So calls them and checks on it and talks to the owner of the place. Oh, I'm glad you called. I could make hair, tears, and nails. I didn't know what the heck you wanted. And like, what? You didn't call me? Like, yeah, I couldn't find your number. I'm like, so we paid you money for this, and you had no way to get in contact with us. And if we didn't call you, we would have gotten nothing and been out the money. Okay, and that's like strike number one, or red flag number one. Um, so my wife gets all the information all over again. Oh, okay, this is what. Oh yeah, we could do that. No problem. Okay, we'll have it delivered to the place because the Strasbourg is like about an hour and a half away from Wilkes-Barre. Um, so we go in. I didn't even see it beforehand until it was actually delivered to the stuff. Um, got there, and it was a cake. A lot of people like thought it was so cool cake. It was absolutely nothing what I asked for, nothing what I wanted. Instead of a stack of comic books, it was just two sheet cakes and stuff. I went to actually like with comic books, like individual issues and stuff like that, and like kind of look like that. The top one wasn't the Avengers 156. It wasn't that. It was like the top one was like in the shape of a book. It looked like they had like a mold. It's a book. So I had a book that was open, and one side was one thing that got off the internet. Happy birthday, Avenger! Not what I wanted. Not what I asked for. Not what I requested. And the other side was a thing from a DC Comics book called Demon Knights. Not the same company. Not the same era. Not the same characters. Nothing. So obviously there's this point of if that wasn't bad enough, I think we paid $300 for this cake back in 14 years ago. Um, Instead of having the characters peel off the page and look like they're fighting, all they have is like a piece of fondant on a toothpick sticking out of there, and there's Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman going, "Yay!" Um, so yeah, that was like one of the worst experiences I've ever had in time there. Um, did a scorched earth through Yelp and uh, TripAdvisor and all stuff, like giving bad reviews. The woman managed to get the bad review off of Yelp, but I managed to get it back on again. And eventually the thing went out of business. Rightfully so, because it was a mercy killing, because she was horrible. Um, am I bitter? Do I keep a grudge? Absolutely, yeah. You know, if you're gonna like charge us money and steal money from us and not give us what you promised us, yeah, kind of. So 10 years later, we decided to try this again. This time I was having my birthday in New York City because it was my 50th, and hey, why not? So we tried to do this again, and we decided like, you know what? Screw this. Um, since we're so close to New Jersey, where Cake Boss is based out of, let's just go with them. Let's go to the people who created this whole trend. Let's get this stuff directly from them. So we went through there. We offered that, uh, um, and we saw the show, and they make the cakes, and they'd be doing all kinds of stuff like this. Um, and they delivered it on the show. Have no problem with delivering it. So my wife makes plans to make the cake. Tells her what's her want. They say, okay, at this. Oh yeah, yeah, but we don't. I go like, so would you be able to have it delivered? No, we don't deliver. You're gonna have to pick it up. I'm like, okay. Um, so like that's weird. Like you deliver on the TV. Yeah, we don't deliver that. So if you're gonna have to pick it up, we probably have like, 'cause they have like one in New York City, um, like by like Port Authority. So we'll have it there. You could pick it up there, which is only like a couple blocks away from there. Just figuring out how to get it to the venue without it falling over or breaking or whatever. Um, so we're going through all this, and okay, well, at least we're going to get something like we we wanted and we were expecting and stuff like this. Um, or so we thought. A week before the event, it was on a Saturday around November 2nd. That's my birthday. It was like either before or right after. Um, we get a call from them. Oh, um, yeah, our figure guy doesn't work weekends, so he's not going to be able to do that. So I guess you're just going to have to get the a regular cake then. What makes you think we're going to get a cake off you if you're not giving us exactly what we want? The reason why we came to you in the first place. I'm like, whatever. Okay. At this point, I was just like, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I'm just done. So my wife, my sainted wife, who's awesome, we've both been on Call of Duty, decided to actually get in touch with another thing. I'll if I find out that I forgot. She didn't tell me the name of the company. I don't know. I'll try to get it off her and put it in like the listing below, so I give them all the work there. Called them like as soon as she got off the phone with Carlos, saying that we don't need your services. Bye. At this point. I was just like get a cake from Wakeman's or Stop and Shop or something like that, and just put it on there. I'm done. Um, so she got from this place. Um, told me what we wanted and stuff like this. Okay, it wasn't exact. But then again, they only had like a week to work with, and they're there. But it did have look like a stack of comic books. I mean, it was still like just a block cake, but it had like different colors all along there to demark the different comic books. I'm willing to accept that. It had 156 on top. It had two characters carved out of of fondant of Wonder Man and Vision as they looked on the cover. I mean, it didn't look like they were pulling up there, but they were on there, and you know, as close as I was going to get it, and I was so happy. Um, uh, and they busted their butt in doing that, and we should have went there in the first place and give them more a chance to do this. Um, but yeah, so that's my story of my cakes based on my first comic books, Avengers comics I ever bought. Yeah, so I mean, like I yeah. Um, so yeah, so I mean, you might have different if you go to Cake Boss or Carlo's Bakery, you might have a different effect than I do. More power to you, but yeah, it didn't work out for me. Um, I'm not gonna give you the other. The first one I'm not gonna give you the name because they're out business, so it doesn't make any difference. Actually, it's Mary's Cakes. I'll give you the name. Um, and these are all my personal experiences. So like you know, mm, it's my review of it, and that's what counts. And not doing a slag on them or anything like that. And I'll try to get the name of the other bakery there. But that's the story of the cakes behind those. So you have 2 for 1. The story of my the comic books that made me Avengers, and a bad experience with 2 cakes based on those comic books. If you like this at all, I hope you did. Click the thumbs up button. If you want to see more remembrances of this, um, click the subscribe button and the little bell to notify you whenever I post new stuff up. And yeah, if you want to share this with somebody. If you have a memory tied to a comic book that you want to share, put in the um, comment section. Or if you have any suggestions for anything that you might want to know, like you were curious about how it was back in the 70s in the comic book field or related ephemera. Yeah, put it in there and I'll try to do a video about it. But thank you for watching. Thank you for making it all the way through. If you made it all the way through. And until I see you next time, keep on collecting.